What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to BVIPilots. Glad to be here with you. Hope that everybody is doing okay today. We're actually going to be doing a flight from Tampa up to Charlotte, and it's about maybe an hour and 10-minute flight, hour and 20-minute. But I also wanted to show you I made some adjustments, changed a few sounds. And I'll talk about that once I get up in the air here. We will not be on VSTramp on this flight. I still got to get some stuff worked out for that, but we're going to get it. We'll get it figured. We'll get it figured out. So we are going to get set here and take off. I'm done on the runway. We've already got our SID, our star, our transition and approach is all done. So we're pretty much ready to take off. I do want to make sure we are on flight plan M1, and I want you to listen closely to what I've done. There's a new sound for when I go into my M1 mode. There's our autopilot. And now it's a different noise. I changed the sound for it instead of just basic. And I've also got a new sound for when we reach waypoints. Hopefully that works correct. If it does, you'll get to see that. I do want to make sure altitude 24,000. Alright, we do have a speed restriction here to 215. Which I done expected that. So our flaps are set. Auto brake is set. Oh, hold on. I almost forgot.
The captain is
There we
turned
go.
on the seatbelt sign. Please return to your seat and fasten
Now
your
we can do
seatbelt.
this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard American Airlines. My name is Maricenia, and I'm your purser. Our captain this evening is Tom Hansen, and assisting him First Officer Scott Taggart.
Gear up, flaps in, and right now we're going to be going a little slow, climbing a little slow. We're only going to be climbing or going about 215 knots. That is our restriction right now. We don't have an altitude restriction though. So we're good there. Our speed will pick up as soon as we get through our SID. We'll be able to pick up the speed here. But It should make the new noise when we get to each waypoint. Hopefully. And we're picking up speed now. By the way, just so you guys know, back here on our main window, there we go, center it up. Alright, now we're able to speed up. We're at 224 knots, climbing 2451 feet per minute, and we're already at 4663 ASL, so about another 5,000 feet and we'll pick up our speed, turn off our landing lights. Obviously you don't need them during the day, but you know, to make sure that it doesn't go against me in the final report, we're going to go by the book here. 5615. I also want to tell you guys about our new podcast that we have for BVIPilots, and that is the BVIPilotsPodcast. You'll find a link down below that will take you to the podcast, and you can go there, you can follow on that page, and you'll get notified, you know, each time that we publish a new podcast. We've also got it going to YouTube, it's going to Twitter, so it's definitely getting out there to people, and I'm really excited about that. We did an introduction today about the podcast, so people know what it's about and what we're doing, all that good stuff. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out as well. At any time, if you got questions, you can send an email to BVIPilotspodcast@gmail.com. You can send your questions there. We'll answer them to the best of our ability. So let's check our altitude and see if we can. Yeah, we're almost to 9,000. We'll be speeding up here real soon. And talking flight monitor side of the, actually, did you hear that noise that went bing? That means we reached the waypoint. Alright, let's landing lights are off, and now we're going to pick up more speed. Got about an hour and 32 minutes for this flight, and I'm expecting things to go good all the way there. Wind is very minimum, 8 knots at a heading of 84, so it's coming out of the well, kind of southeast, I guess, east southeast at 84 knot, or at a heading of 84, and it's only at 9 knots, so we're good there. Yep. Did you guys hear that? Again, that was the bell indicating that we've reached another waypoint. So, good deal. I'm probably going to update it again later, but I couldn't find the sound I was looking for, so I put that in there for temporary, which is all good. Want to give a shout out to all the BVI pilots out there. We've got Josh and Brandon and Thomas, all you guys out there. I'm not going to go down the whole list, but all of you. Shout out to Kira. Shout out to my friend George. And of course, shout out to my partner in the BVI podcast community. Hope everybody's doing good. Some of you are in bed because that's what time it is for you. And some of you are still awake with the rest of us that live on the daytime side of the world. All right, let's see. Climbing at 1,706 feet per minute, 1,706 feet per minute. We're going to be leveling out at 240, an altitude of 240, 24,000. Of course, it just announced that we've reached 18,000, so we got 6,000 feet to go. I'm actually going to look into learning how to add more sounds in with some of the jets and stuff, just to give some more cool sounds to go in with it, like maybe the radio, a little bit of random communication from time to time, stuff like that. But I got to learn how to add sounds, to the plane settings. So we'll see if I can find the right area for it, which I don't think it'll be a problem. I think it'd be cool to have them sounds, especially if you don't really want to do self-loading cargo, but you want to do, you want to have some of them sounds. We'll see what happens. We're currently at an altitude of 21,000 actually, 210. Got about a little less than 3,000 to go, and we'll be leveling out. So. I've also recently signed up with another airline to fly for as well. I'm going to try to do that flight later today, which is with Delta Airlines. So we'll see how that goes too. Climbing at 16,000 feet per minute. Or 1,600. 1,673 feet per minute to be exact. We're at 23,000. We're almost to our cruising altitude.
On behalf of American Airlines and our global alliance partners, we thank you for flying with us today. We also extend a special welcome to our Advantage members. For your safety, it's important to stay in your seat as long as the seatbelt sign.
And there's another waypoint.
Once it's safe to get up, the captain will turn on the seatbelt sign. If you plan to sleep, make sure your seatbelt is visible to the flight crew. Please be careful in opening overhead bins as carry-on bags may have moved during our takeoff. You may now use approved electronic devices. You'll find our electronic device policy in the back of the American Way magazine in your seat pocket. Shortly, we'll start our in-flight entertainment. We'll be showing NBC Universal on American. Feel free to use your own earphones to listen to the programming. If you need earphones, we have this set for $2. Please select channel 12 for English or channel 11 for Spanish.
All right. Got 53 minutes for this flight. And in 10 minutes, you should hear the new waypoint sound. We're traveling at a Mach speed of 0.67, that's a normal Mach speed for only being at 24,000. I didn't really feel a need to climb all the way up to 33,000 or 35,000. So when I generated this flight plan, I went ahead and changed that. Let's see what the weather is up in Charlotte. Wind is good. Visibility is 10 plus M miles. Few clouds at 500. So there that is, and I'll be back with you guys here when we go to land. You can at least get the view of looking at the cockpit here. All right, you guys. So here's what I've decided to do for those of you that might be interested in hearing what the first podcast was about. We got 39 minutes till we land, so that gives us time to go ahead and we'll play this.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first edition of the BVIPilots podcast. I am Declan. I'm here with Johnny, that some of you may know from the community as well.
Hey everyone, glad to be here. And just so everybody knows a little bit about me, I was getting ready, not saying anything. I'm like, well, I guess they would want to know. So, so that way you do know a little bit about me. I've been doing the simming thing for about 4 or 5 months, and I think that for what it's worth, I think I'm doing fairly decent. And now I've gotten with you now, and we've decided to do this and hopefully help some people out, have some fun, educate, all that good stuff. So
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
So a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know. I'm sure most of you do if you are in the community, but I've been around, I guess you could say, one of the longer people here. There are a few who are even before me, but I was around when IYP was here, pretty much when it was on its last legs, unfortunately. But I had IYP for about 6 months and got to experience that. It was a great experience, obviously, with the speech recognition and the autopilot, the co-pilot, which could control the autopilot, but just being able to go down the checklists and all that was really cool. And although there were certain things it couldn't do, and it was a pretty sluggish program, it was really interesting to see from that point onwards how things evolved, because we went from there when it was pulled onto FSX Pilot and now onto FSTramp. And the whole community has changed a lot, but we've learnt a lot as well. And obviously I started a channel and we got a great community there, and so everything has grown since then a lot. And so that takes me on nicely, I think, to the aims of the podcast. I had this idea a while back, and was I guess just looking for the right kind of person to present it with. And I don't mean the right kind of person as in who's the best at flying. I mean I guess you kind of complement each other in terms of the way we present, and it works really well, I think. The podcast is really a way to bring all the knowledge together, and all the sort of the new things that are going to come out. So whether it's a new bit of software or a new way of doing something that is proven to work, we will aim to talk about it on this podcast. And the idea is that this is not opinion based. It's just going to be something that's more factual. We can tell you if there's a piece of software that's been tested and we know it works. We can tell you if there's a new way of flying to help you out that we also know works. I mean, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, John.
Yeah, well, I think a good example of what he's saying, guys, is so basically, because if you ask somebody a question about flying, you're going to get all kinds of answers. And then you're kind of wondering, okay, well, which is it? In this case, a good example would be TFM, right? TFM, as in Talking Flight Monitor, it's a fact that program is going to be really, really helpful to you flying. Without it, you're going to kind of have to, well, it's just not going to be good. So we're bringing you facts, not my opinion compared to someone else's. So I think, with that said, you've pretty much, got it right on, man. It's about helping each other too, and me and you both, you've been thinking about this for a while. Of course, you knew that after me and you spoke, you knew that I'd done some podcasting in the past, so we kind of just added it up and we're like, let's do this. Let's make a spot where people can go and get the answers they're looking for.
Absolutely, yeah, and we want to show the blind pilots community in a really good way, because there's some great people here, and sometimes things get bogged down in the drama. We're not interested in that, and people on the outside looking in won't be interested in that. So we want to create a place here where people can come in, get all the latest stuff, whether you're a new pilot or whether you are someone who's been around for years and just wants to relax for an hour or so and listen to the latest news of what's going on and the latest interviews and stuff. Then this is hopefully a place you'll be able to come. And I mean, what we want to do is I'm sure the first few episodes you'll have to bear with us. It might be a little bit all over the place as we get going with all this kind of stuff, but we will hopefully have it nailed down relatively quickly with the sort of segments that we want to do, and to bring you some really good content, whether it's interviews with people, or bringing you some advice from a person who probably knows more about these things than we do, because we say it a lot, but we all fly in different ways. We all have different kind of areas that we enjoy, so to be able to bring you that would be really nice, whether it's a new add-on or a way of flying, and there's a lot of people out there who can do that, and we'll come on to how you can contact us in a second here. But I think I don't know about you. I think we've just about covered the aims of the podcast. It's going to be something we do. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's going to be something we aim to do every 2 weeks. We are recording on the Sunday, and so we'll aim to have one out on the Sunday. This podcast is not really a reflection of what future ones will be like, because we're not actually going to be discussing any add-ons or flying here. This is more of just an intro to get you into it, to let you know what's going to go on, and also for us to double check that everything's working. This is actually our second take. We had an issue with the audio on the first one. These things happen. I'm glad it was only on the intro podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not an hour podcast.
I know, that right? You do an interview down the train or something. Yeah, no.
Like, we just recorded for an hour and we're going to do it again.
Yeah. Really wouldn't be good.
Man.
But hopefully everything works out, and we're going to aim to get this up on all the major podcasting areas. So we're going to aim to get it out on iTunes and all that. We're going to aim to get it out on our respective YouTube channels. But what we kind of want this to be is, it's not a personal, if I can speak, it's not a personal thing. It's not going to be tied to any one person or about him or her, etc. It's just a place for the whole community, and as such we've created an email which is BviPilotsPodcast. I remembered it this time. BviPilotsPodcast @gmail.com. And
see, it does pay off to do another take. So.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we actually get better the more we do. And
yeah, man.
When Johnny creates the podcast page, he's gonna have this on the page. It's going to be in the description. So if you want to go down and double check that email, you can. And this has been created
even
so you can
Google
send
people, man. Like Google, there's a few spots we're going to have it where you can access it on them Google phones, Android. So don't feel left out, Android. We're not leaving you out.
Absolutely. We want it to get as wide as possible, circulated everywhere.
Yeah.
So that email is going to be a place where you can contact both of us. As I've said, we're going to be happy to have people on. It is just going to be the two of us actually presenting it. So, if you hear anything, check it with us first, because it is going to be kind of an official thing, and we want it to be as professional as possible.
Yeah.
So if you do post something in the Discord or the WhatsApp group, don't automatically expect that it will be seen if you have an idea for the podcast. If you drop us an email there, maybe it's an idea you got for a segment. Maybe it's you fancy having an interview with us, and specify specifically why you want to have an interview. You're not just going to randomly interview people for the sake of it.
We want to kind of know who we're bringing on, right?
Exactly.
Like, we want to be able to, at least have an idea of, one, what do you want to talk about, and number two, something that's really important is, who you are. Who are you? Like, we're not saying if we don't know you, we won't bring you on, but we would like to know you before bringing you on, just to protect the name that we're putting out there.
Yeah.
Because you never know. We like you said, we don't do drama. And trust me, I've done it before in the past. I brought somebody on a podcast when I was doing a YouTube thing, and all they wanted was just enough time to where they was on the air to say some really immature stuff. Lesson well learned. But so we will avoid that.
Absolutely, yeah. We want this to be nice and polished, nice and professional.
But it's to have fun, right? It's to have fun, and we want to bring you on. We want you to be a part of it. But we want to keep it professional.
Exactly, yeah. Feel free to reach out. We want the widest scope of people possible. It might even be you're not a blind pilot. You might be someone in the sighted community. I know, Johnny's got a real world pilot friend, and to have him on and stuff would be great. So we're looking to widen the scope and get a whole bunch of people on, so that when you listen to this, yes, you'll get the latest factual information, and you're also going to get some entertainment as well, with a bit of an interview and a bit of something to enjoy.
And guys, make sure you email us, okay? Don't message us on WhatsApp and expect us, well, hey, I messaged you there twice and you never did. Email us, because we're both going to see this email, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't
I do
expect
my
us
best
to return it on other apps, because it gets busy.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea, to try and bring all the stuff that we have in all these groups together into this, so that someone who might not have the time, say, to go through all the messages can get what they need just by listening to something like this. So you've got the contact details. You know exactly when we're going to be publishing. I think that is pretty much it. I will, obviously we'll publicize this as soon as it's ready to go, and let people know where they can find it, and provide links. I should thank a few people for contributing. Obviously, Johnny, for agreeing to do this. As I say, it's really good when you're able to find someone who you think you can present really well with, and this is my first time presenting, so I'm sure we'll grow as we go with this. And also to Marshall for helping to create the little theme song you heard at the beginning, and you're going to hear again at the end with the sound effects, the aircraft and the theme song. I would add, as we did before, that
thank you very much, man.
Thanks, Marshall, for helping out. It was really cool to have you to do that little
anything I can do, let me know.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and there you go. First person we brought on the podcast. Just a tiny appearance there, but Marshall is outside of Flight Sim. He does a lot of audio stuff, so he helped us with that. And whilst
he's our other audio guy.
Yeah, right. He's the guy in the background that you sometimes hear,
right.
and he's doing. He can help us with any audio issues. But so yeah, please don't use the theme on anything other than this podcast. So don't take it out. You were just relying on your goodwill to do that. I think most people would be sensible enough not to do that, but
I think so.
Just not claim, don't claim any affiliation to the podcast. Like I say, it is just going to be me and Johnny doing this, but we are happy to
rely on rely on us to tell you something. Don't don't say, well, I was told that you said you was going to do this. If we said it, you're going to hear it right here, or you're going to hear it through that email.
Exactly, and we'll try and be as open as possible. Whatever's going on, we'll say it on here. If there's a reason for something that happens, we'll say it on here. We want you to feel a part of this, just as much as we are. So I think that about does it. Hopefully, this edition will be up relatively soon from the date of recording. We just got to get a few final things done with the page and getting everything set up, and then it's going to be out there. As I said, we're going to aim to do one every 2 weeks, but there may be one within a week, maybe next Sunday if this goes well, to get an actual first full edition out to you, seeing as this is just an intro. We'll have to see on that, but as long as you follow the podcast as we go, and obviously we'll let you know on the usual places, then you'll be able to find it relatively easily. So I think that's going to do it. I will leave you with the wonderful outro music as we leave you, and the plane, I guess, takes off again, heading the other way. A very nice little effect on that.
Yeah, it's time to jump back on the plane and get out of here, man.
Exactly. So yeah, unless there's anything you want to add, Johnny, I think we're good. So we will see you in the next edition, everyone. Thanks for listening.
See you guys later. Alright, you guys, there you go. That is the introduction podcast for the BVIPilots podcast. You can also, down below, there's going to be a link and it'll take you to the podcast page. You can follow it there and all that good stuff. And we've got about 20 minutes, I'm guessing. Let's see. 22 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. And we will be landing this. I did this flight earlier, but I needed to work on my, on the flaring. And so hopefully we'll do better this round with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put in here the vertical speed dash 100. And what I'm going to do right when I get down to, about, 100 feet, I'm going to hit that. And hopefully that'll help with doing the flaring as well. We'll see what happens. I will go ahead and get the RTO on the off position. We don't need that on, and we can actually go ahead and set it to auto brake position 1. Position 2. I really don't think 3 would be necessary, but we're going to go ahead and put it on 3. Here we go. looking at a button I had on my yoke there. Let me see here. Okay, make sure approach turn back off. There we go. And I did go ahead and go back to airspeed mode instead of Mach. For one, we're only at 24,000. There's really no need to do that. It's not going to be. It's not really going to, you know, benefit anything to do that. So we're going to go silent for about 2 minutes. So let me give you back the. Cockpit there, and I'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, folks, let's see where we're at. 14 minutes remaining in this flight. We're going to land at about around, we're going to try to set it down around 370 knots. I'm just kidding. Not really. Nothing better than having some steak while flying. That's what I call good service. Real good. We don't got long to go here. "11 minutes. Like I said, hopefully we'll have a better touchdown this time. Try a different routine here and see if that helps out. Get it. Okay, let's see. All right, looking good, looking good. every now and then I'll just randomly uncheck the altitude box just to make sure Tramp's really got a hold of things, but for the most part you don't got to do that, but you know. Eating some Baby Ray potatoes. Green beans. Macaroni and cheese. Here we go. Get down to about 15,000, I'm going to be going to M2 on our mode. Alright, we're in auto position 3 for the brakes. There went our tone for the waypoint we just reached. Speed's looking good. $282 knots. $270 knots in the speed edit box. Okay. We're at 21,268 knots. We're looking absolutely splendid. There's that beep for the waypoint. Be looking for a video, a short video where I'm going to show you how to change the sound if you don't like the sound that you've got. It's real easy to do, but I'll go ahead and make the video just to show you how to do it, just to, you know, that way I can show you guys. We're at 19,000. 261 knots indicated. I'm going to go ahead and shift tab up here. On the M button. So when I see that we're at about 16,000. Right now we're still at 18,000. Technically I could probably do it at about 12,000. 18,000 feet. Hear how quiet it is. 18. I'm gonna update that too. We're at 16,000. I might go ahead and just go to M2 here. Still at 16,000. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to. We'll go ahead and go to M2. There we go. We're on M2. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll usually control my speed because it seems like it's always delayed on controlling the speed for me. That's honestly just personal preference. As long as you're going them speeds, it doesn't matter if you do it or if you let Tramp do it. I like the new sound that I put in there. It's actually the same sound that they'll use on the CFM or CMF, whatever you call it. Let's check our altitude. We're coming down nice and easy. Now what I went ahead and did is we're a little over 11,000 AGL, 11,300, 11,400 might as well say. I went ahead and put in my speed for 240, and as soon as I hit that 240, I'm going out to flaps 1. We're almost there now. Alright, we're going to flaps 1. Alright. Now I'm at 240. We're going to change the speed to 215. 215. I'll go to flaps 2 at 215. Nice thing is this, when you're doing your approach, it's okay to be doing, you know, that approach speed. Like 170 is my not my final speed, but I'll travel at 170 knots for a good, I know it depends on what airport I'm at, but I'll travel at 170 knots for 5 minutes or so. Because it's better to do that because your speed's coming in, you've got better control. I know some people might think that the flaps is about the altitude. It's more about the speed. How fast are you going? That's what's important. Because I'm barely at 10,000 and we're on flaps 2. Okay? Now I will go down to 200 knots once we get in here. But it's nowhere near time yet. However, I do need to go ahead and turn on the landing lights. And for some reason it didn't say nothing. That ain't good. Let me check something. There we go. Now, we're at 11,000. I'm not going to be grabbing no localizer at 11,000. Once we get below 11,000, I'll grab it at about 8, but not 11. That's just no way. Because that localizer is still going to be there, so don't grab it at no 12 or 13,000. You guys get down to about 8,000, better at 7, and then do your localizer. Says our wind is at 25 knots at 0 gusty knots, so. Okay. We'll see something real quick. Another way for you to see exactly where you're headed, it's not by just doing right bracket D or right bracket W. You can also tab up to your 1/2 button, and if you look right to the right of that, it's going to show you what waypoint you're headed to, or what star, or etc. Now I'm dropping down to 200. Which you don't have to drop. You don't got to do it the way I do it there. I do it in sessions. And generally I'll usually go to 200 when I'm closer to like 2,300 feet, something like that. But it's not going to hurt it if you go down to 200 knots, when you're at 8,000 feet. I mean, if anything, you're getting set for that, for that landing. So, all right, now we're at 7 something. I'm going to approach. I'm also going to go ahead and go to flap 3. Now I know on the thing it says something like flaps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I do it in sessions, like, so it's the 3rd time I've moved my flaps. When I do it again, I'll be at about 190 knots, and that'll put me at about flap 15. We're at 6193 AGL, above ground level. Speed is 208, and I'm getting ready to move that to 170. I want to fly that 170 for a little bit. Now, I'm doing this from my friend telling me, that I can do it this way, and it's going to give me a much smoother, as you're coming in, you're not coming in, at higher speeds. It gives you more time to make adjustments or anything you got to do. Alright, I'm going to my next flap setting because we're at 194. Now what I'm going to do is when I get to 2,500, I'll put my flaps out one more time. Because now I'm not really basing it fully on speed, because I'm already slow enough that I could technically go out to flap 15 if I chose to. We're about 16 nautical miles from the runway. So we still got a few minutes here. Once I get down to 2,500, I'm going to change my speed from 170, and I'm going to put it down to 135, 140, one or the other. Either one would work. It depends on the type of jet you're flying. I've had this one at 130 knots, but it's real easy to stall in this one. Alright, so we've caught the localizer because the heading lock is off. And then when the altitude goes off, it means you've caught the glide slope. Or vice versa. I can't remember if it's glide slope when the heading goes off, And then, no, I think it's localizer when the heading goes off. And then when altitude goes off, that means you've caught the glide slope. There we go, altitude lock's off. We're gonna go down to our 140. And I'm gonna go ahead and move our we're at 160 knots.
Too low, gear. Too low, gear.
And because I went ahead and did my flap, it wants me to bring my gear down. I'll go ahead and do it. Usually I don't bring it out until I'm about 5 miles from touchdown, but we'll go ahead and now I'll bring my last flap setting out when I'm at about 1,200 feet. And when you get that
2,500.
you get that low, you can also turn on your ground spoiler. We're going out to flaps 30. I'm gonna watch a video to be 100% on this because I'm still not fully sure. I'm hoping for a good landing this time. I went ahead and turned on my ground spoiler. Real quick. Dash 100. I want to be on that. Okay. Going out to my last flap setting now. We're on auto brake position 3. Maximum I don't think really is required because it just stops you on a dime, you know.
$400.
Here we go.
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
We'll see how that was. I feel like it was still.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until we safely park. At the gate, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. Also, be careful when opening overhead bins as articles may have shifted during landing. We know you have a choice in air travel, and appreciate very much that you chose to fly with American
Parking
Airlines,
brake
a
is
member of the
on.
One World Alliance. Have a pleasant evening.
And shut her down. I still don't think that landing was. Trim. Trim is the thing, man, and it's something I really got to work on. "22 feet right of center." Not bad. Minus 341. We have one bounce. And let's see. You know, that flight probably got accepted. Got a 3-point landing. So that's cool. So anyways, there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed this flight. And be sure to join me next time. And we'll do another exciting flight. Before I stop here, I'd like to remind you, tap on that subscribe button. Join us here at BviPilots. We'd love to have you. And be sure to remember about the new podcast that we published today for an introduction. It's going to be on Apple. It's going to be on Android. It's going to be on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So we hope to get that out there to the best of our ability. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Remember, like